students, welcome to Bosco Campus Vision. I am Raniar, faculty member of Postgraduate Department of English. In this lecture series, I am dealing the paper 20th Century Malayalam Literature in English Translation, which is a core paper for Semester 3 BA English students of Kerala University. This is the third and final part of the poem, The Story of Axe, originally written in Malayalam under the title Mazhuvinte Kadha in 1956 and which was included in Balamaniamma's collection titled Sopanam. So as I mentioned in the previous classes, this poem is based on a mythological figure, Parasurama. So in the last class, we saw the hard work of Parasurama to redeem from his sins of killing his mother as well as hundreds of Kshatriyas. Now, let's continue the poem. So, the last answer which we had discussed in the last class was, I did give tracts of land to Brahmins, yet knew no happiness, no respite. The restless mind taunted, you are condemned by the Aryas. You will not reign long here. So, Parasurama gifted the lands to Brahmins, but he didn't get happiness. So in order to redeem from the sins, he had gifted land to Brahmins, but he didn't get any sort of happiness. And he became restless. His mind said, you are condemned by the Aryas. So Aryas, as I mentioned in the last class, they are the ancient inhabitants of Bharata. And as we continue, sitting down by the shore when the sea touched the sky, listening to the rhythm of the world outside, I fixed my senses on the soul of the universe and performed pranayama at a leisurely pace. So, he sits the seashore and listens to the outside world. He used to practice pranayama. Pranayama is a type of breathing exercise. Okay, so then flash the images in quick succession of mother, victim of tradition, of father who died for my fault, of countless other lives that fell victim to the insatiable bloodthirst of the white axe. So he sits the seashore, listen to the outside world and practice pranayama. And at that time a series of images flashes through his mind. His mother was a victim of tradition. Father was killed for his fault, and several others were killed by his axe. And lifting the divine weapon from my shoulder, I hurled it afar into the great beyond. So furiously he lifted the weapon from his shoulder and throws it away. And as we continue, I sat in meditation, years turning into moments in my mind's intensity, its sharpness. I shall win a land sans violence, sans murder, renew and soften the seat of justice. Not for destruction, but for creation, shall I use my powers of penance? So, Parasurama sits in meditation for years as he wanted land without violence, murder, and he wished that land has justice. So after throwing away the axe, he went for making penance. And in that penance, he wished a land without violence, murder, and that land has justice. So he used his power of penance for the creation, not for destruction. Then came the day when white sand cliffs emerged like the smile of an ocean, at the place where the sinning axe fell and lay buried. The islands embraced each other, and there arose a strip of land wonderful and prosperous. Rain, mist, sunlight invited their return. Mountains and valleys turned green and bloomed. Paddy fields brimmed over the spikes of grain. Cows with heavy udders grazed in pastures. And finally, on that day, white sand cliffs emerged like a smile of ocean. So, as when he throws his axe in that place, a sand cliff emerged like the smile of ocean. And it was the genesis of the land Kerala. A new land was created on the axe. Then, what is the speciality of that land? It was very prosperous. It was a prosperous land. Then, with rain, mist, sunlight, mountain, valley, green, paddy field, etc. So, it was a prosperous land. Rain, mist, sunlight awaited their turn, and mountains, valleys turned green and bloomed, and paddy fields brimmed over. So it was a land full of prosperity. People flocked from foreign lands to settle down in that land of beauty. I saw my principles taking shape there in its soft soil where tradition's roots did not run too deep. So what happened then? People migrated from foreign lands to Kerala. And Parasurama saw his principle in that land, and he did not want tradition be deep-rooted there. And as we continue, family is built on foundations of love. No slur on the freedom of women. No Shaiva Vaishnava divide there, where they worshipped gods, demons and serpents. People helped each other, had a jubilant time. Each gave and took respect from the other. Yet my mission was unfulfilled. See what happened in that prosperous land? Parasurama wished in that land the families should build on foundation of love. So they should have a freedom. They should have freedom for women, and they shouldn't have Shaiva Vaishnava divide. That means in the name of there must not have a division in between castes, and there are different types of people who worship gods, demons and serpents, and people should help each other, etc. So all these are the wishes of Parasurama, but unfortunately his mission was unfulfilled. But yet my mission was unfulfilled. Ravaged by doubt was my Brahmanya. Will it do for men to enjoy life and then merge unto earth? And what happened there? His mission was totally unfulfilled, and he wept doubt in his Brahmanya, and he asked, will Brahmanya do it for men to enjoy life? Will Brahmanya do it to enjoy life? So this was the question he asked himself, and so he begged a lot of saints. So begged I of Brahmin scholars from outside to grace the land and sow the seeds of wisdom. So he begged to different saints. So what did he beg? So he begged saints and scholars to grace the land and lead the people to wisdom. So the newly created land, the people has no wisdom at all. So Parasurama begged different saints to give certain wisdom to the newly created land. Lead his people who wallow in desire, show them bliss past all earthly comforts. Let heaven and earth join hands, let virtues of Brahmins and Kshatriyas blend. So he seek advice or he seek help from others, especially sages, to bless the land, and he wishes heaven and earth joins hand for the virtues of the land. But later what happened? Let's see. Before the soil ensnared my feet, I arrived at this great mountain peak to do penance. Seated where I see the ages come and go and living souls grow. What I see now is an old world, no doubt, yet its shape has changed over the yugas. So, before he came much involved in the land, he arrived at Mount Mahendra. So, before going for a long time period of living in that land, he came back to Mount Mahendra. From there, he saw many years people live in the newly created land. As years passes, and he witnessed the changes in the land. And what are the changes happened in that land? See here, Forests have dwindled, cities grown, living and non-living things have turned smaller, feelings have become sharper, and so has its war cry. From the twang of the bow to the swish of the sword to the gunshot and boom of the cannonball, a range of jubilations over victory in war. The call of equity ringing out from the face of earth. So, what are the changes happened during that time in the newly created land? Forests have dwindled, cities grown. So, the number of forests reduced, and in the place of forests, new cities has grown. Living and non-living things have turned smaller. Feelings have become sharper, so has its war cry. So when feelings became sharper, there is a call for war. So from the twang of the bow to the swish of the sword, so people started using weapons like sword, to the gunshot and the boom of cannonball. So he can hear gunshot from Kerala, from the land, newly created land, and boom of cannonball, a range of jubilations over victory in war. So, and after the war, there is a range of jubilations, and the call of equity. Iniquity means immorality or unequalness. The call of iniquity, unequalness, injustice happened there, ringing out from the face of the earth. And as we continue, I'm upset to see many who follow my former wrongful path. The human mind grows stronger by the day, yet why the same old path indeed? I glance over my land that shines like a long green leaf under the blue sky. There are tears, pain, hatred, courage, and conflict, all in excess as elsewhere. I realized a lofty ideal loses its sheen when touched by earthly breeze. So, this Parasurama could really upset the changes and questions among the human, and he asks humans, why are you following the wrongful path? So this is a prosperous land, and there are a lot of things to enjoy, but still human beings following the wrongful path. Again he saw the land which was shine like a long green leaf under the blue sky. And I glance over my land that shines like a long green leaf under the blue sky. There are tears, pain, hatred, courage, and conflict. So again he looks at the land. There are tears, pain, hatred, courage, and conflict. So all in excess as elsewhere. And he realized a lofty ideal loses its scene when touched by earthly breeze. So material, when people are more concerned to the material life, their unity had lost. And virtue can turn into vice in the human hand. You may blame, how long should one live to realize one's own mistake? And here he had lost his ideal concept of the land, and virtue in the land turned to vice. And here he posed a question, how long should one live to realize one's own mistakes? This is an important thing. So here Parasurama posed a question, how long should one to live to realize one's own mistakes? And as we continue towards the end of the poem, look at my people with axe-marked hearts. Tears well up in my eyes and I think of them. Swayed they are by a mix of traits, courage, dissatisfaction, quick temper, deep anxiety. Was it another mistake to bring Brahman and Kshatriya powers together to breed restlessness in the people? So Parasurama here tells to look at the people with axe-marked hearts in Kerala. So in Parasurama, in his shoulder there was axe mark, but what happened here in the hearts of people in Kerala, there is axe mark. So when he thinks about them, tears well up in his eyes, and they are swayed by different traits. So they are swayed by different people, or swayed by different traits like courage, dissatisfaction, temper, anxiety. Eyes of Parasurama were filled with tears, and they displayed different traits like courage, dissatisfaction, temper, anxiety. So he questions his act of creation. So what was his questions? Here, to breed restlessness in the people, Brahmin and Kshatriya powers together. Was it another mistake? So did he made another mistakes of committing by creating people, Brahmin and Kshatriya powers together to breed restlessness in the people? And towards the end of the poem, I feel relieved. My land decks up, my people rebel, not for this man of adventure, nor for the soldier who passes his days in torment. Counting mistakes committed in wrath, they revel for a genial deity, an icon of humility that saw God in the bare foot that was placed on his head. So, towards the end of the poem, Parasurama invites our attention towards the land he had created, but the people are celebrating not for him. So even though he had created the good land, now people are celebrating not for him but for a genial deity. And genial deity here, the reference is Mahabali, and what he had written like this: not for the soldier who passes his days in dormant, counting mistakes committed in wrath, but they revel for a genial deity. So people of Kerala still remember, they are not actually remembering the person behind the genesis of Kerala, that is Parasurama, but instead of that, they remember a genial deity. He was an icon of humility that saw God in the barefoot and was placed on his head. Here the references Vamana and Mahabali. Mahabali was an Asura king, and during the festival of Onam, it is believed that there is an annual return of Mahabali. So the people in the newly created land, they remember, in the name of Genesis of Kerala, they remember the king Mahabali instead of Parasurama. So this is the end of the poem. So my dear students, with this I am concluding today's class. See you in the next class with another topic. Thank you.